Hi, welcome to Record Time. I just opened the records and it feels super heavy almost. Not in a bad way, but just I feel a lot of energy and it's tripping me out. I had my eyes closed and I opened them and saw my face in the camera, and I was like, whoa, I look so messed up, but I'm just in the records. Okay. This feels different than it has ever felt for some reason, so we're just gonna go with it and see what happens. Alright. And it's I feel like I'm underwater almost. Sorry, I know this is irrelevant, but yeah, this energy feels so weird. It's I feel slow, if you were trying to run underwater or something. It's just really dense, which is weird because I was feeling super fast and light and playful before, and I still am feeling light and playful, but it's this has slowed me down a lot just opening the records. It's a really dense energy. Oh boy, okay. So, and it's funny that it's so dense when the topic is so ridiculous, but today's topic is about annoying people and what to do about that, because sometimes people are annoying AF and it's hard to deal with it. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Alright. And these messages about this topic have been coming through all day. So there's a lot of information, and plus this energy is super heavy. So we're just going to do our best and see what happens. And by we, I mean me. You don't have to do anything. You can just chill. Okay. So if you find yourself in a position where you're getting annoyed at someone, they're saying this is common and it's okay, just first of all. But we're gonna dive into kind of a different way to look at this situation as it comes up. And they're saying some of the common places where this might occur is with family, friends, or at work. So yeah, if you're if you're around people and you find yourself getting irritated. And yeah, they're saying an example of this at work is if you are okay, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. This is so it feels the words are really spaced out, so it's really weird. This doesn't usually feel like this. But yeah, so if you're at work on a team and you're working, and maybe a teammate or a coworker, not even a teammate, a coworker is not really working as much as you, if that kind of thing bothers you, you're getting annoyed because someone else isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing. Or another example is with your family, if you see someone doing something, they just made a joke. Okay. If you see someone, whether it's your family or not, if you see someone doing something and it's just bugging you, whatever they're doing is annoying you, this is that kind of thing is what we're talking about. And I know that was vague, but they were Enneagram type 8 and Virgos will be able to relate to this, and they're just kidding, but it's like people who, you know, really like fancy or fancy. I don't know where that word came from, but you know, people who really like and value. That's what I meant to say. People who really value efficiency might find themselves getting frustrated at other people who are acting inefficiently or illogically. And so they're saying in those moments when you're getting frustrated at other people or getting annoyed, one thing to ask yourself is, are their actions directly affecting you? That's the first thing to ask yourself. And if their actions are directly affecting you, then you'll have to take an alternative course of action, and you will likely, you know, you might need to deal with this, like that situation differently if it's impacting you directly. And they say directly affecting you because they know that if you think about anything long enough or broad enough, everything is indirectly connected. So yeah, everything that anyone does is indirectly affecting you if you just like zoom out enough. But they're saying directly affecting you. So if what they're doing is directly affecting you, then this doesn't really apply. But if it's not directly affecting you, then like recognize that like what they're doing is not affecting you. And the next thing to ask yourself is, what is your intention here? Like, why are you here? And they ask you to do this because remembering why you're there will help you focus on what you do control. So in this example with work, like if someone at work is bothering you because you know that they're doing something inefficiently or they're just not working at all and you're working, and you might be like, why am I working when this person isn't even working? That's not really fair. That's like annoying. They should be working too. We're not supposed to be taking breaks like that. But then you ask yourself, like, is what they're doing affecting me directly? No. Someone taking a break doesn't directly affect you at all. And then the next thing you ask is, what is my intention here? Why am I here? Why am I at work? I'm here at work to do my job and to get paid for it. And I can still do that whether or not this person is doing what they're doing or not. So again, to repeat, they're saying like when you're getting annoyed at someone, the two things to ask yourself is, first, are their actions directly affecting you? And if it's no, then you ask, what are my intentions here? Why am I here? And connect back to the reason that you are there in that situation in the first place. And once you do that, you're like narrowing in on like what you can control, what you need to focus on, and then you have the next step for you, the next task that you need to focus on right there in front of you. And it helps like guide the mind back to what it needs to be focusing on in that moment instead of finding things to get upset with. And they're saying that the point isn't to avoid anger. You're totally fine. Like, it's totally okay to feel angry. That's not the point of this. But there's also like nuance to this situation, because they're saying, what's the root of this anger? Why are you getting annoyed in the first place? Is the reason that you're getting annoyed because you're putting an expectation on the other person? Because they're saying, why are you getting upset at what someone else is doing if it's not directly affecting you? That might occur if you are consciously or unconsciously imposing an expectation on that person, or basically you think, let me word this. It's basically like you're getting annoyed because you think that what they're doing isn't the way they should be doing it. So what they're doing they're not doing what you think they should be doing. And that's why it's annoying, is because your expectation isn't being met, but that expectation isn't serving you in the first place. And so they're saying, like, expectations are the root of, like, dissatisfaction, because that's, like, what causes disappointment and anger and frustration, is when your expectations aren't being met. So in this case, the expectation you have is not reasonable. To be putting expectations on, like, random people around you and then getting upset when those strangers who don't know that you have an expectation for them aren't meeting them, you're setting yourself up to be frustrated. And so what you do in that moment, it's not get mad at yourself or blame yourself for having expectations. It's to notice the expectation. That's all you have to do. Just notice it. And that, like, witnessing automatically weakens that expectation. So then next time you'll be more aware, you'll be quicker to recognize that expectation that's not necessary. And slowly over time, they'll dissipate the more that you witness them. And so they're saying, yeah, this whole thing, it's like, it's an opportunity for accountability. Because why are you getting frustrated? It's because you yourself are putting expectations on another person for no reason. And it's also like an opportunity to practice humility, which it's like, why do you think your way of doing it is better? And maybe your way actually is better, like objectively, it's more efficient, or, it's more productive, or it's more whatever. But remember that you control very little, and you'll never be able to control what another person does. That is so, like, wildly out of your control. There's no point, even attempting to do that. There's no point even attempting to control another human being, another living thing, because you can't. And so it's like about having the humility to recognize where you're imposing expectations on other people, where you're trying to control something that is completely, like, radically out of your control. So again, to recap, there was a lot of, like, different points to this, like, topic. So a quick recap. If you find yourself getting annoyed at other people, ask yourself, are their actions directly impacting you? And if they aren't, ask yourself, remind yourself what your intention in this space at this time is, and focus on that instead. Take a moment to recognize whether or not you're imposing expectations on other people, and whether you're expecting someone else to do what you think is right simply because you think it's right. And remember that there's very little in your control, and it's easier to focus on your own intention, what you're here to do, why you're here, instead of what other people are doing in that same situation. So the whole point is just witnessing the frustration, noticing the root of that frustration, and then redirecting your energy and focus into what you can control, which is your intention, the reason you're there, instead of other things. Okay, that's all for today. I hope that made sense, and I'd love to know, is that something that happens to you? Do you get frustrated with other people, whether it's at work or with family? Are you a Virgo? Are you good at finding places for greater efficiency? Because if you are someone who is detail-oriented, I imagine, that it's easy to get frustrated when people aren't doing things the most efficient way, because I myself am kind of like that. So this topic didn't come out of thin air. This came from experience. All right. I would love to hear from you. Feel free to connect with me through Instagram or through my website, which is minaruchi.com. I'd love to hear from you, and until next time, I'm wishing you well. Namaste.